Let's vibe, let's roll, let's get it. Whoa, shawty showing out, throwing on the dance floor. Fashion killer, huh? You don't give a fuck what a nigga gotta say or a bitch.
Hey guys, it's Naimahrae. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button to join the fam because we stay litty over here. You feel see your returning viewer. Hi, how are you guys doing on this lovely day? As you guys can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be doing a March/April book recap of all the books that I've read. I have a couple of other book videos on my channel, and I decided that I'm just going to put all my book videos in a playlist for everybody who's actually interested in reading and interested in my book videos to watch. So I will link it up there and down below for your convenience. I also post book reactions on my TikTok, so make sure you guys follow me over there if you want to see more book content from me. With all that being said, I don't want to make this video too long. Let's get into all the books that your girl read in March/April. Let's start with March. Let's get into it. So to start, I read one standalone book and one series. So only one of these books is not part of the series. In March, I read Lipstick and Camera Clicks by DJ Murphy. She's actually a Black author. And guys, this book was new. I think it actually released this year, and it was so good. If you want a good drama, love triangle situation, this is the one for you. You know what I'm saying? So let me tell y'all what it's about. Pretty much it's this girl, her name is Indigo, and she's in a relationship with like this gaming influencer. Things end very terribly for them, and she goes back to staying with her best friend, who I guess she was living with prior to her living with the gaming guy. Her best friend's name is Ryan, and she has a brother, and his name is, what is his name? Don't tell me. River, Ryan and River. That was them. They're not twins. I don't think they are, at least. But no, they're not. They're not twins. So she goes back to staying with them, and I guess River has always been like Indigo's biggest crush because they grew up together. Like that's like her childhood crush, but he like crushed her dreams at some point. Was like, girl, I don't want you, and so she just admires him from a distance. So River's like a producer or whatever, and Ryan is like a model, and River's talking about this show that he's about to be working on, and it's a dating reality show. So Ryan's just joking around like, oh girl, you should sign up for it. So Indigo's like, you know what, at this point I have nothing to lose. Like I literally have to start from scratch, so let's just go for it. She signs up for it and she gets it. Y'all, when I tell you the comedy and the drama in this book was so good, because when she gets there, she's not really there to fall in love. She's a makeup artist, so she's just trying to promote like herself pretty much. So she does really good makeup looks all the time anytime she's on camera. And of course it's gonna make people be like, oh, I wonder who does her makeup. And she'd be like, me, like of course you're gonna follow her. Like she's just trying to build her own portfolio. But then like she kind of starts falling for the guy who's the bachelor on the show, and River is like side-eyeing her like, I don't know about that, because River was dropping major hints. He was dropping major hints that he wanted her, and she was just kind of oblivious to it because she's like, well, you said that you didn't want me, so I'm just gonna let it go over my head. But guys, the drama in this book was chef's kiss. I was eating it up. Even the ex makes an appearance. He comes back. It was a good book, okay? And I will say, one of my favorite things about this book was the ending, because it wasn't like a super cliche ending that you can kind of predict. It honestly caught me off guard. And I don't know if I was the only one that was like that, or if it was like that for everybody else, but it truly caught me off guard. I was very confused on what's happening. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but I did give a good synopsis of the book. If you want to know more, because there's a lot of drama in between everything that I just shared with you guys, make sure you guys go check it out. I will put the little picture on the screen and everything. But it was a good book. It was definitely a good book. But that was the only standalone that I read. The other three are gonna be from a series. So let's get into the line. So the series that I read was the Shifting Fate series. It has 3 books in it: Spark of Fate, Mark of Stars, and Bond of Destiny. What intrigued me to read the first one, which was Spark of Fate, was about this girl. She was adopted, I guess, and like her and her sister got in a car accident, and her sister ends up passing, and her sister was like the parent's like biological daughter. And then like after that, her life kind of changes because her adoptive parents start treating her like very differently, and her mom practically hates her. And she's just like miserable. So like they move to this whole other state, and she meets these guys who just kind of are like very friendly to her and really nice to her. and things just kind of get a little intense because they're just like drawn to her, right? Mind you guys, this is a fantasy book, so it does have werewolves and stuff in it, and that's where the drawingness comes from. I'm trying to describe this without like spoiling the entire book, but pretty much she ends up being like very drawn to them, and like they're just there for her while she's still processing and going through this really difficult time in her life. But also while all that's happening, they're finding out different things about her, and it's kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, like pause. What is happening? So pretty much that's what that is about. I don't know how I'm gonna describe these other two without ruining the first book, but I'm gonna do it. But that's pretty much what Spark of Fate was about. It was actually really good. I think it's really good beginner fantasy if you really want to like just get into it, like dive into it, and you've never read a fantasy book before. I think this is a good one, as well as Shatter Me. But if you've been on my book talk, you already know all about Shatter Me because I was eating them books up, and I made a video about every single one that I read. That's like a 7-book long series. But yeah, this is a really good beginner fantasy book if you're into werewolves and romance. Definitely recommend. So I realized since this is a series, I literally cannot talk about the second book without spoiling it for you guys a little bit. So if you actually want to go read the series, please do not watch past this part of the video. Otherwise, the rest of the series will be spoiled for you because I'm just going to talk about it. And I mean, you know, if you want it spoiled for you, that's fine. I'm going to try to do it without that many spoilers, but it's definitely going to get spoiled a little bit. So in the second book, when Rowan pretty much finds out that like these guys are like attracted to her because that is her bond, like her werewolf bond or whatever, and she's also a werewolf, like all this comes out and she's just kind of like processing. She's still going through the motions, but she also isn't sure if she could fully trust them, which is kind of understandable considering how her adoptive parents pretty much kicked her to the curb. So she obviously has trust issues. It's kind of like, can I trust these guys? Like, I'm not sure. So in this book, this is when things kind of start to get juicy. Like it comes out who her real parents are and why her parents gave her away and like what was going on with that. And then it turns into this whole thing where like, of course she's the most powerful one and they have to protect her. And of course, y'all know fantasy. Of course, I feel like every fantasy book that I've read so far, it's always like the main character, the girl, is like the most powerful one and they have to protect her. That's what it's giving. And I'm trying to remember what happened, guys. Sorry, I read this like so many weeks ago that it's not registering. Give me a minute. Pretty much that's what the second book is about. She's just trying to find out who she could trust, trying to adjust to her new lifestyle and figure out like pretty much what the heck is going on because she has no clue. She doesn't know what's happening. Book number 3 was, give me a minute, Bond of Destiny. This one is when she has solidified all of her bonds pretty much, and she's really learning how to use her power because she's the only one that can like stop her father from trying to off her and all of her bond mates and trying to stop him from pretty much trying to take over the whole werewolf community because they run their sector very differently from like the regular world. At least he wasn't trying to take over the world. That's all I'm saying. At least he wasn't trying to take over the world because that would have been very cliche. He was not trying to take over the world. He just wanted control of all the werewolves, which I feel like, I mean, you know, I guess that's what he wanted. But that's pretty much what this third book is about. The third book actually was not my favorite in the series. I feel like it was a little rushed. I think the author could have split it into like 2 just to like flush it out a little bit and give us a little bit more detail. But overall, I think the series was really good if you just want to get into fantasy. I think it's a 10 out of 10 read. Yeah, I feel like I did that pretty well without spoiling it too bad for you guys. So yeah, those were all of my reads so far of March and April. I also, since technically we're still in April, I am currently reading Fourth Wing, and y'all, Book Talk was all over Fourth Wing, and I was like, I'm not gonna read this book. And so I finally caved because I've been on a whole fantasy thing lately, and it's so good. I'm only 30% in, but so far what I've gathered it's about this girl. Her mom just kind of, it's fantasy. So follow me, right? her mom is like the general of like this little area, their country, their district, whatever you want to call it. And her mom is a dragon rider, and she wants her kids to be dragon riders. So her daughter, Violet, who the book follows, is really not, she's just not strong. She doesn't have the endurance. She doesn't have the strength to be a dragon rider. But her mom doesn't care and sends her into like the little training for it anyway. The training's like super intense. Like people like literally die every day in the training. And Violet's whole mantra of being there is like, you know what, I will not die today. Like I am going to make it through. Like I'm going to get through the finish, like the end of this training. And I so far have made it to the part where she's made it through most of the training and she just got to her dragon, which most people was down her and was like, oh, it's not gonna happen at all. And mind you, she also has a lot of enemies. So far the book is actually really good. I 10 out of 10 recommend it. I know I probably shouldn't be saying that, I'm only 30% in, but you know, here we are. But yeah, those are pretty much all my March/April reads. I feel like this book video was super short, but if you guys want to hear more about my book content and book reactions, all that other stuff, make sure you follow me on TikTok, because that's where I post all of my book content, literally all of my book content. I say it all the time, I would post it over here, but your girl just talks a little bit too much for YouTube Shorts. So make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, which is always in the description box down below. I'm so sorry this video was so short. I'll try to make it a little bit longer next time. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
I want a chick that grind on a 9 to 5. Oh, she in them college books trying to get a rise. But tonight I'm just trying to have a good time.